Today, I'm going to be going over my top 3 things that every crypto trader needs to know in the current state of this bull market. Now, all that we ask here is that if you like the content that we make, consider hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and maybe check out some of the links in the description down below because we got a great community that you all can be plugged into. So without further ado, let's cut right to the chase. What are these 3 things that every crypto trader needs to know right now as the crypto markets are going parabolic? Well, the first one has to do with the numbers actually working in the background behind the Bitcoin ETFs. The second one has to do with everything around Bitcoin specific price action. And then the third one has to do with a altcoin sector that is actually showing a lot of promise at the moment and outperforming a lot of the other verticals and industries inside of the altcoin market. So let's look at the ETF numbers first, because I think that this is going to be something that a lot of people find interesting. So if we go over to the block, first and foremost, let's just take a moment to look at the cumulative spot Bitcoin ETF volumes. Not only would I say that this is a pretty good trend to say the least, but it's gone borderline parabolic in recent days. Now, what we can see from that is that on a typical day, we'd see $300, $400, maybe $500 of inflows into Bitcoin, and then we'd see maybe 1 to 200 million in outflows. So, right, maybe a 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1 ratio on a good day. Well, recently, what we've seen is that in the past couple of days here, meaning that on Monday, we saw a total of, and I can barely click on it, $10 million in outflows and 167 million, or 242 million rather, in inflows. The very next day after that, February 27th, we saw $520 million in inflows and almost no outflows. In fact, this was the smallest day of outflows that we've seen, and it's so small that I literally can't even hover on it. But what we're seeing is essentially the point being here that we are seeing tremendous amounts of inflows, record levels of inflows, with BlackRock leading the charge over here, and almost no outflows. I mean, even going back to the most recent data that we have from February 28th, which was Wednesday, I believe, we had almost $700 million in inflows and about $100 million in outflows. So this is still about a 7-to-1 ratio. And on the days prior to that, it was a lot bigger, of people saying, hey, there are so many more buyers happening at this level than sellers. And this is a great way to kind of look at what's happening behind the scenes. Who's winning these battles? Is it the bulls? Is it the bears? Are there more buyers? Are there more sellers? And at the current state, and it has been like this for a long time, you can see over here, the outflows are getting crushed by the inflows, which means that there's a lot more buyers up here than there are sellers. That's point number 1 that I think everyone needs to understand, and people need to be watching this chart if they're interested in trading at all. Number 2 is what's happening on the Bitcoin chart, because what we're actually seeing right now is that after the initial move upwards that we saw, Bitcoin is now forming higher swing lows in a really consistent and nice trend line. So I have 3 lines here. We have the blue, which is the 20-day moving average. We have the pink/red one, which is the 50-day moving average. And then we have the yellow, which is the 200-day moving average. So since I'm zoomed in here on an hourly chart, these are all hourly moving averages instead of daily moving averages. But the big kind of trend here that I want to make clear is that Bitcoin has a really nice, solid, rising support line here with a really flat level of resistance right around the roof of $63,000. So we have a flat resistance that's been tested once, 2, now 3 times, and we have this rising level of support, which would indicate, with a rising level of support and a flat level of resistance, that pressure is actually squeezing towards the upside through something similar to an ascending triangle. Now, the line in the sand over here for this kind of to hold up is going to be between $60,000 and $300, all the way up to where our current price is. If this starts breaking down below, then Bitcoin has the potential to move back into the 50s. If it holds, then Bitcoin has the potential to actually go to new yearly highs and even the potential to go to new all-time highs. So this is a really big and pivotal level that I am watching on the Bitcoin chart. And then the final thing that I wanted to talk about in today's video is the ETH DeFi sector, because it has been doing really good. Pretty much the whole Ethereum sector has been doing good because they got a lot of exciting stuff actually happening over here. But you have a couple of coins in specific that I have noticed, like Compound. I'm going to switch this over to a daily chart. Compound going borderline parabolic. You also have coins like Maker that are looking really good, and you also have Uniswap, which is also going, again, borderline parabolic with this rise over here. So with a lot of crypto kind of taking back off into this direction, I'm looking at ETH DeFi as a whole and saying, okay, like there is probably some plays to make here around directly either in Ethereum or some of the Ethereum related ecosystems. So this could even involve things like layer 2s and other things of that matter. But again, this is something that I have been watching, and I think it's something for every trader to kind of keep an eye on as we continue to consolidate over here. So again, that's going to kind of bring us to the end of this video. I didn't want to make this like overdrawn out or overcomplicated. And I hope all of you can appreciate that. Again, all that we ask over here is that if you like the content that we make and you like the news that we bring forth and the market updates and just everything that's happening to keep all of you informed, consider checking out some of the links that we have with like Crypt Nation and Altcoin Alert, and just checking out the podcast, the Crypto 101 podcast, and some of our YouTube channels, because all that's a great way to kind of support us and let us continue doing all the research in the background so that you all can just hop on and get caught up to speed on all this. So thank you all for watching, and until we get you in next week's market update, stay safe out there.